Good, how are you?
Good, good. Thank you for joining in today. It's good to have you on board
Yeah,
through
no,
this
thank
live
you for
session.
inviting me.
Not at all. I got the follow request from you yesterday, and I thought, when I read your profile, it said alternative investments. So I was intrigued myself as to
Yeah,
what you do and what are these alternative investments that you are working on.
sure,
So it would be great to sort of enlighten the viewers who are here right now of who you are and what you do. So, India,
sure.
please go ahead and introduce yourself to us.
I've literally just put my phone in a plant pot, so I don't know how well that's gonna go. Um, yeah, I'll just leave that there in the soil. Delightful. Okay, so yeah, basically what I do is I've actually I'm not gonna bullshit. I'm not gonna tell people I'm this big top dog when
Yep,
I'm not.
yep,
Like I'm not. I am just like I'm 25 and I live in London and I used to work for an asset management company and that's how I got into investments and how I like really got interested in working with investments in that way and using them to make money. Um, I got fired after
this
about
asset management company, was it based in
It
London
was
Central?
based in Cambridge. They have an
Okay,
office in London.
okay,
It's called Cantab Asset Management.
okay.
Um, they they are an ethical asset management company, and they made really 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 good returns. In fact, their 5 year balanced portfolio was the highest performing portfolio in the country. It beat
Wow.
Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, everybody. So they really know what they're doing. And the reason they've done so well and they have great clients on board is because they don't confuse themselves with complex investments.
Sure.
So they really just stick with like basic equities and funds. So they didn't branch into alternative investments, which is obviously what I do now.
Okay.
Um, Mainly because the CEO didn't want to understand and learn about them and confuse his clients. So I got fired after 6 weeks. I'm not allowed to say why I got fired, but it wasn't my fault, and I think it was wrong. And
After six
then
weeks being in the company.
yeah,
Seriously.
and I
Wow.
was the top performer as well. Anybody would tell you that, but mm,
I mean, let me tell you one thing that it's commendable for you to come out here and actually admit that, you know, uh,
yeah, I think there's a lot of strength in vulnerability. I think that as people, we think that if we're strong and confident, we're gonna make more friends. And actually,
yeah,
when we're weak and vulnerable is when we make more friends because everybody understands that we're human.
yeah, great.
So,
So,
yeah, so I got fired after 6 weeks, and that was a real shit show because my parents went crazy. I was like, I don't have a job, and then I lost my apartment the same day. So I was like, I don't have a home, I don't have a job. Then
it's like a perfect movie story then.
my life. I'm not even kidding when I'm saying like my life is actually a movie. So so then I lost my job, my apartment. And then my parents didn't want to know me because they were like, look, you've just failed and you need to pick up your own burdens and
Mess.
you
Yep,
need to do it yourself because we're not going
yep,
to help you. And I was like, and a lot of what happened is because of them. They actually took my apartment away and kicked me out, and they contacted my CEO and told him to fire me. So I was like, you did this, and they were like, yeah, we did it for your own good because you need a wake up call. You're not humble, and you're not going to go anywhere in life if you're not humble. So I was like, right, okay, this is great. I'm in a shit situation. It's not my fault. And I kind of was just
I mean,
like,
actually, your parents did that. It's unbelievable.
yeah. But to be honest, it's my fault for taking favors from them. Like, if you want to get anywhere in life, you need to do it yourself. Because if you take
Absolutely,
favors from people, they're going
absolutely.
to try and pay, they're trying to, they're going to try and control you in some way. So
Yeah.
yeah, so like my life went to shit in about 12 hours and no family, no home, no job, and no purpose in life. And I was just like, guys, like, what am I doing? Like, I don't know where I'm going to go from here. Loads of people reached out and they were like, we're going to help you, don't worry, we will like put you up in our house, we're going to give you some money, like we'll give you a job offer and stuff. And I kind of started getting super cocky like real quick. Like I was like, look, I've like lost everything and I've suddenly like got it back just as quick, and like I don't need anyone's help, and like I don't need my parents. This is so easy. And basically, like I just for 3 months I was working in gold and I was trying to
Yeah.
sell discounted gold from a mine in Tanzania, I think, or it's
Okay.
Tanzania. Um, Long story short, the gold was a really good price, and it was a really like if people had bought it, they would have.
I mean,
made a
right
lot of
now,
money,
today, they would have made a lot of money.
a lot of money.
Yeah,
But guess what? Nobody bought the fucking gold. And I was like, oh, for goodness sake, like I just need to get some commission. Somebody's
yeah.
just said smokers, ouch, turn off. Yeah, I know it's a really bad habit, but I'm sorry, I'm stressed. So, when they start making cannabis cigarettes that like aid anxiety and stuff, then I'll be on it. But until then, it's gonna have to be Marlboro Green. So
Marlboro Green is not paying us anything to get sponsored, but anyways, carry on. Let's
yeah,
go.
not in association
Yeah,
with British Tobacco. Anyway, so yeah, so I got a bit cocky and I was like talking to all these big guys, like big
yeah,
players in the game,
yeah,
and they were kind of like, you have no experience and like how have you even got into this? How have you got into alternative investments? Commodities are really volatile, and like we've got we've got people to sell us gold. And
yeah,
so I know the top guy at Glencore, and he goes to my church. He's a really, really, really good guy. He's called Kenny
yeah.
Ives, and he won't mind me mentioning his name because he's super intelligent, and I think he's actually being put forward to be the CEO of Glencore now. But he's a good guy, and I messaged him and I was like, Kenny, is this legit? Like, I'm trying to sell gold. This is the price. It's discounted. It's like 8% discounted at this time. What do you think? Like, is it dodgy? Some people are coming up to me and saying it's a bit dodgy and they're not going to touch it. And he was like, India, like it's a big discount. Like I don't know why they would be discounting it that much.
Yeah.
But as far as I can see, it looks fine, and no reason to believe it's dodgy in any way. And I can't help you because gold isn't his field. He's in nickel. But he was like, if you need any advice on anything, I can put you forward to the relevant banks and the people in those banks, and they can advise you further. But so far, like it looks fine. Don't worry. So I was like, okay. So I continue to trade gold. But again, like no real interest in anybody, and a lot of people who were showing interest
Can I
were
just ask you, trading gold as in on how do you trade that? Is it on digital
um
platforms?
no. So it was like investment management. It was like trying to sell gold to investors and
Okay.
yeah, get them on
So you
board.
mean physical gold or the
Well,
digital version of it?
you never really sell physical gold. Like
Yeah,
nobody really knows where it is.
yeah.
So we did have the bars, and we had pictures of the bars and everything and where they were. But it was selling the digital version, of course.
Gotcha.
But if
And
the
then
investors,
these guys obviously who bought these gold bars or whatever digitally, they would get certificates from you.
they would, yeah,
Oh, okay,
they would absolutely get certificates, and they would actually, if they wanted to have the physical gold, we would organize delivery of that as well. So it was completely
gotcha.
legitimate. It was completely,
Okay,
and you'll find that actually in this current time, nobody is providing you with the physical asset. If you're buying a commodity, you do not get it. Most of the
okay.
time, it's not actually even there. Nobody
So
knows
all
where it
you get
is.
it is the certificate for it, proving that you've got this much amount of gold
Yeah,
somewhere in
and
the
then
world.
we can send it to you if you want to send it. But unfortunately, all the people that I was dealing with that were showing interest had the money, they had proof of funds, so they weren't like completely disingenuine, but they weren't moving forward with it, and they were questioning our integrity. And I was like, why are you questioning us? Like, we've given you every source of proof that we have this and it's available, and you're the one that's stalling the deal. So
Yeah.
eventually, they were all dead ends. So I didn't make any money in those 3 months working for that fund, even though it's a great fund. It's based out in Malaysia.
So
It's all
how
accredited.
did you keep going within those 3 months? Like,
It's a lovely little thing called an overdraft, and it bites you in the ass. It really bites you back in the ass after a
yeah,
while. And
yeah,
I eventually got to a point where like I was maxed out on my overdrafts, and they're not big overdrafts. It was like maybe 8 grand total, but I was having to pay like the interest on them, and I couldn't even afford the interest payments. And I was just like,
yeah,
I just don't know where I'm going.
yeah.
Um, and so I had to go home because I didn't want to go on to Universal Credit because I didn't think it was fair. And I've got a family who's got money, so it just didn't seem right.
We've
So
got a question here. If they're not buying physical gold, why do they need to buy through this company? Can you explain that a bit?
because we were discounted the gold we had was 8% discount, so you're not going
Gotcha.
to get that price anywhere.
Okay. And that's because
So
someone would be buying it in bulk, or
mhm.
I mean,
We would always send out a sample
okay,
to show them. that would be complimentary.
Okay.
And then if the sample was accepted, oh my gosh, Park Chinois just came on. I love your food. I literally love it so much. The duck rolls, crispy duck rolls. I'm here for you. When you open again, like I'm gonna have a coming out party. Not that I'm gay, but you know what? Like coming out of Corona season party at Park Chinois. Like I
Coming out
swear.
of lockdown party. Oh
And
man,
like
we're
your
going to have loads of those
oh,
all over,
I'm
all
telling
over.
you, and your Ferrero Rocher cake. Like I'm all over. Obsessed, obsessed. I'm not a chain smoker, but like I just don't have anything better to do.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, you were talking about the 8% discount. So yes, go ahead, please.
Yeah, so I made no money in the gold deal. I was 8 grand in debt. I couldn't pay my interest payments, and my parents were like, "You need to come home." And I was like, it wasn't a good decision because I didn't feel comfortable at home, and I went into severe depression and ended up having like suicidal thoughts, which is really bad. But I'm fine now, like back out of it, and that took me about 18 months to get back out of it.
Wow.
Um, it was a long slog, really, like really, really long.
But
Um,
looking at your Instagram, it wouldn't come to my mind that you'd been going through all of this.
Yeah, of course. But actually, if you look back to one, you know, maybe like 4 posts ago, that last post that I posted was February 2019. Then I didn't post again until
Okay,
January, until March this year. So it was the
gotcha.
entire year that I was off social media. And actually, for
Okay,
about 6 months, I just didn't have a phone because it broke and I lost the data and I just didn't bother to get a new one.
okay.
So I really was like completely off the grid. And there's a lot of people trying to help me and reach out to me, but I just felt like such a Debbie Downer. Like they were asking me if things were getting better and they weren't. So I didn't want to give them negative news. I wanted to be
Yep,
like, oh, I'll just ignore them until I have some good news and then I'll contact
yep.
them. But unfortunately, I never got any good news. Um, and then basically, March 2020, last month, my mum got called out to go to Washington, D.C. to support President Trump in aid of coronavirus. And so we all went out with her. And so she was working for the White
So
House and I
you're
was
back
supporting
with your
her.
family again.
Yeah, so
That's good.
I moved back in with them February 2019,
Okay.
and then I went into severe depression and suicide, etc. And then in March we went to New York and then to DC, and we were working for the government, and that really pulled me out of it. That's what really pulled me out because it like took me out of this like vicious cycle of like you have a terrible job because I was working for my dad and he owns department stores.
India, just 1 second. We've got a comment here by ST1 London.
Sure.
So are the investors team buying contracts
What do you mean? Are they buying contracts?
in terms of the digital gold? Are they actually, so like you mentioned that if they buy something, you're sending them certificates. Are those certificates a type of a contract, or what is it? If you can explain on
It
that bit.
depends. Yeah, sure. It depends on the nature of the deal. So if it's a one-off purchase, then it's not going to be a contract. But if it's a ongoing purchase, which is what most people were interested in, like buying a certain amount of gold per month, then yeah,
Yeah,
we would write up a contract for them.
gotcha.
Yeah.
So they would have to abide by that contract, or is it like they can pull out of
Um,
it when they want, or
yeah, like we had very reasonable terms because we're a small investment company and we're based out of Malaysia. And, the people that were working were very versatile people. We adapt quickly. So yeah, I mean, it was when you sign up to a contract, any contract, everybody knows that it's really quite final. But
yeah?
we were prepared to like bend the rules a little bit to support people's needs and where they were at financially.
Okay, great. So you
Yeah.
were, please carry on, like when you went to the US.
Yes, so we were in the US for a couple of months. We were staying at Trump International Hotel. We were the only guests. They kept it open just for us. So it was me, my mom, and my two half sisters that are 4 and 7. And my dad stayed at home because he had to work in his department store. And then obviously that got closed, and he was really upset because he wanted to be out with us, but the ban was on, so he couldn't
Yep.
fly. Then my mom started working with homeless people, and she's like on the board of one of the largest homeless charities in the UK. And she is fantastic at networking and getting contacts on board. And she's a philanthropist. So she spends not only our money, but she spends other people's money on their behalf. And she's really good at it and really good at allocating those funds in the right way. And so she was doing that out in DC. And, she didn't want to put financial pressure on my father. Not that there's any financial stresses, but he was worried about the future of his company, so he wanted to keep as much liquid assets as possible. So she actually used my money from the year that I'd worked for my dad, and it wasn't that much money because the year I was working for my dad, I was doing investments on the side, but I was working as a sales assistant on the shop floor in a cosmetics department in a department store. I was just selling makeup, like
And this
it was.
departmental store is
It's called Smith Bradbury and Co. It's in
okay,
Hampshire. We have like
okay,
five or six, and then he also
okay,
owns some Debenhams stores
okay. But
and furniture
Debenhams
stores.
is obviously it's now gone, right? Debenhams is
It's still around, but it's on the way out, we believe.
yeah. Okay,
So when it does go out, he will purchase majority of those stores and turn them into Bradbeer's, which is
okay.
our store. And we are the oldest independent department stores in the country. So
Wow,
been established
amazing.
since 1837.
Wow. And this is like
Um,
your family business that has been going on
yeah,
for.
for sure. Yeah, this is my family business and it's been passed down from father to son for those many years. And unfortunately, my father has not born any sons, so we are four daughters. And he like
So
when
everyone's got
he
their departmental store with them. Good
yeah.
stuff.
Um when we were all born, the last one's four now, so she was born 4 years ago and she wasn't a boy. And my mum was literally like, put her back in. Like, I don't want it. If it's not a boy, I don't want it. And my dad was like, no, chill, like it's so fine. And now he's like,
Should
I
have had
hope
a
you
boy.
keep your last name. Don't change your last name for anybody. And I was like, okay. Plus, we can't play cricket with him, and he loves cricket. And my
Yeah.
my mom's actually on the board of the Ageas Bowl, which is the largest cricket ground in the UK. So we're a big cricket family. I'm not really into it, to be honest. Like, I go for the
Yeah.
hospitality, but they're all into it. So yeah, so that is the business. That's our family business, and it's super successful because we have a really loyal customer base. We've never been hit by any financial crisis. We've never lost profits. The only time is
But
now
right
because we're
now, how is
closed.
it? How is it going right now? I mean,
Yeah,
it's. Have you got an online presence also? I mean, you've not got online presence?
no,
Not at all.
no,
I
no,
mean,
because
are you
no, not at
thinking
all.
about doing that or no?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we are online. We have a website and everything, and it's great. But we do not sell online just because we don't have the demand. Because our customers are generally like they're older customers and they're very
Got you.
loyal to our store, and they walk in and they walk out. If they request something delivered, we'll deliver it to them because a lot of them are local. And obviously with the furniture, we deliver it worldwide. So we have previously traded online, but it just was not it wasn't profitable for us. In the future, I believe the retail industry is going to change dramatically. I think that right now what's happened is the wholesalers, so the middlemen, have all lost their jobs because nobody's importing, exporting, and
Exactly.
countries want to be self-sufficient. So we don't have the money to be able to finance all the staff. So what's going to happen is when the stores do reopen, stores will really turn into museums. They'll turn into showrooms, and you will only go into a store to touch and feel the products.
Seriously.
And then you'll
And then
go
you
home and
can purchase it
you'll
online.
buy it online.
Wow.
And the way the stores will make money, because it's very easy to go and touch the products and then go back online and choose the cheapest option from a different store. So
Yeah.
you'll have to pay like a very small entrance fee to get
Got
into the
you.
store.
So it's like
And then
like you said, a museum. It's like that.
essentially, yeah, I really believe that's the way forward. And a lot of stores have already done that, and they're still opening and running, and they're very successful.
I mean,
Um,
I just heard yesterday that Cat Kitchen they've closed off their high street presence totally, and now
yeah,
they're
for
all
sure,
online. So
for sure.
I can see that happening with a lot of the. I mean, I can just see the high street of UK or London. I mean, Oxford Street, for example, just
It's dead.
completely
It's dead.
doing a 360 in terms of what we are going to see out there and what we are going to be shopping for. So yeah, it's amazing. Your hair is good.
Yeah, thanks. So yeah, so it's going to be different, and I think it's going to work for the better because I think that people are still going to be coming out because we're so used to now like we want to be out, but the high street will not service the consumer. It will service the community. It will be like your healthcare,
Yep,
your places of worship, your
yep.
education, your community centers, your like baby mama groups, all that kind of stuff. So it will change dramatically for the better. I think it will bring us all closer together rather than like we're going out to be selfish and buy these goods and go home and use them.
I think
So
that's what's yeah. I mean, you will
mm,
just be buying necessity rather than what you don't need. So yeah, I mean,
for sure, for sure.
it's a good thing. But yes, go on, talk to me.
We're back.
Alternative investments and how you think you're moving forward with it. So just a few, yeah, just a few words.
Sure. So like the investment market at the moment is pretty it's pretty dry in most areas. Like people are not really moving money. If they are moving money, it's bringing it home and trying to get it physically out or putting it into a digital bank or a crypto bank, which they're happening, they're coming, and then
Are you
once crypto
dealing with
banks,
cryptos also?
I am, yeah, I'm also dealing with cryptos, yeah.
That's amazing. I mean, I invested in my first Bitcoin just before the boom in 2017. Just before,
Oh,
literally
yeah,
September, I think, and
yeah,
December
it's a
it
wise
went.
choice.
But then again, I paid like 3 grand for it.
Yeah,
But the one that I made my killing on was Ripple XRP
yes,
that
XRP, yeah, very smart, very smart,
I bought it at 0.17 cent.
amazing, amazing.
But in February that same year, it was at 0.06. So I could
Yeah,
have made an even better killing. But then again, you got to be thankful for what you did. So I invested £1,000 into Ripple and I made back £20,000 December. It
smart move,
was
very,
like,
very smart move. Yeah,
I mean, and since then, 2018, I've been into investing into various, like, somewhere I lost money, like the ICOs and all that stuff. When you
sure,
start getting
sure,
fond of it, like, look, I made this much amount of money by buying Ripple at 0.17. Maybe I buy this at 0.0000 something, and you get a
sure.
million coins of that, and then you're like, whoa, nothing's happened
Yeah.
really. These guys just went away with the money. But yeah, I mean, cryptos, I think is, I don't know. I mean, what do you think in terms of the crypto market booming from now on? I mean, where do you think it's going?
Yeah, so it's a very people don't understand the crypto market at all, and you know, the biggest fear, the only fear we have really is the fear of the unknown. And so a lot of people don't understand it, they don't know about it, and so for that reason they don't
It's
invest
good
in
you
it.
said that, fear of the unknown.
Yeah, of
We're
course.
dealing through it right now in these days, right?
Exactly. There's only one fear in life, and it's fear of the unknown.
Yeah,
So if you can get over that, you've basically mastered life. But
absolutely.
so yeah, so people don't understand it and they don't invest, and I think that's a on an investment. You should not put your money there because all investments are not secure. Your money can go up and down,
But then that is why they have people like us, like I deal with property investments. They could come
for
to me and
sure.
ask me for advice and things like this. And this is the point, that if someone's looking for an alternative investment, be gold or crypto or whatever, they can come to you.
Hmm.
And this is why I'm doing these
Absolutely.
live sessions, to empower people with that knowledge that, look, okay, you've got the money, you've got that cash lying there, but you don't know how to use it. So there are people on social media that can come and help you out with those investments and give you the advice that you need. So
Of
yeah, I
course,
mean,
of
it's
course.
it's it's great, and that's why I'm doing these live sessions. So it's absolutely
Mm.
amazing. But yes, you were saying about a few things about crypto. So yes, go ahead.
Mm. So yeah, because people don't really understand the market, they're not as willing to invest, and I think that's a wise choice. You should never invest in something that you don't fully understand. So the thing is with crypto is that there's very little difference between a cryptocurrency and an actual currency. There's very little difference between crypto market and stock market. It's just a different name. They're pretty much the same. The difference is obviously with the stock market, you've got the underlying assets, which are the stocks, the companies, and you can see what they're doing, how they're working, where they're moving forward. With a crypto, because you don't understand the underlying assets or where they derive, it's difficult to forecast where they're going. But what crypto really does is it invests in the same things as the stock market, it invests in companies, funds, etc. But it's just in a different way. And so what is happening right now is we're finding that actually the physical banks are failing us big time. They are still leveraged. They've met all the capital requirements, but they're still not safe enough to withstand, you know, these kind of like storms. And we're having to print money to bail them out. And honestly, in my opinion, printing money is the number one worst thing you can do for any
Yep.
economy. It's
Yep.
just so damaging and it's so difficult to come back from. And we only, you know, we learn from hyperinflation in Zimbabwe and Germany. And, you know, it's really, really, really damaging. So what I think is that what's going to happen now is these physical banks that are failing us, that are actually, they have huge overheads because they hire so much staff.
Yep.
They're actually, if they're not bailed out, they would go under easily. I mean, everybody knows that it's happened before in 2008. So the governments really shouldn't be spending their resources on bailing out these banks that are really not
Yeah, but
servicing
then that's
anybody.
what they do, right? That's what exactly that they do. I mean, there are so many businesses that are going down, but yet they go out and save EasyJet.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's you don't
Mm,
have, I mean, unless you have the power to say no to it, it's still gonna happen. So I
yeah.
just,
And like the problem we have is that obviously without the financial system, we don't have an economy. We don't have a proper government. We don't have a functioning welfare system, and it's done. So they're doing the right thing by bailing them out. But what they're not doing right is that we really need to be moving forward in the financial system, in the financial sector. We need to be moving on to digital. The banks that are not stressing right now are the banks in the cloud. You know, like the remote banks, the banks that don't really have any staff. Uh,
Monzo, Revolut,
Exactly.
yep,
You know,
yep,
they're amazing. And actually, when I left the asset management firm in Cambridge, I actually got an offer from a guy who was setting up a really big online bank.
okay,
But for me, he seemed a bit. He was not humble in any way, and he seemed a bit like too big for his boots. He was very young, very successful, supercars, watches, everything. He was allowing his staff to work from his penthouse apartment, and I was like, I'm not really on board with this type of working environment. As a person, you know, when I'm coming into a company, I look at the CEO and I think, well, do I trust that person? Would I put my money with that person? And for me, that guy was a bit too flamboyant for me, and I just didn't trust his intentions. So I didn't go forward with it. And I'm not sure where he's at with that company right now, but I'm sure he's doing well. He's a very successful, intelligent guy. But yeah, so I think the future is digital. And with crypto, like I said, it's exactly the same as the stock market. There's very little difference. We just need to like learn about it and understand it a bit more. It is volatile, just like the stock market. It's very difficult to forecast, just like the stock market. You know, I've always been told you shouldn't base future returns on past forecasts,
yep.
or you know, you shouldn't base future forecasts on past returns. You know, historical values aren't a good determinator of where
But
you're
that's
going
what they
forward.
do, right? I mean, I've seen so many videos about this, about people talking. I concentrate on crypto because I invest in there. But the amount of times they relate the graphs to the stock market or the forex or gold, or it doesn't make sense because you're comparing something. I mean, like you
Yeah,
said, historical data, it doesn't make a difference. Like
it
today,
doesn't.
it doesn't affect it, it affects you in a different way. Like what maybe if you're looking at 2008, 2008 there wasn't a lockdown. People were still spending money,
For
you know.
sure, for sure.
Right now, it's like I'm not going to spend any money on anything unless it's a necessity.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
that's what's happening right now. So but yeah, so thank you so much for coming on. It was great having you. I mean, we should do this again as well in terms of
For sure.
possibly enlightening people on how to get into the gold market or how to get into the nickel market or how
I
to get
wouldn't like
into,
the only thing I would say is I wouldn't invest in commodities just because I think they're unethical investments. I think that, you know, the way they treat the workers, the mines, the land that they destroy to take out this precious metal, you know, the metal's in the earth for a reason. It services the earth. It shouldn't service us. Like, what good is it for us wearing it if it's not servicing the land that we live on? So I don't believe in actually investing in commodities. I think it's really, really, really actually disgusting market to invest in. I think
so
there's a
what
lot
would
of
you say in terms of where should people invest their money? Okay, we've got property, bricks and water. You can't go wrong with that.
you can never go wrong with that.
But what other alternative is there to investment? If someone, let's say, they have £100 or £1,000, what should they
Hmm.
go for in terms of investments in your field,
Yeah,
maybe?
So if you're looking at joining an investment platform and you're not comfortable with the cryptocurrencies, because the crypto is the way forward. When the first crypto, basically two of my best friends are twins, and they're incredibly successful twins in London. You can look them up. Just type in cryptocurrency twins London, and it will come up with loads of news articles about how they created these two cryptocurrencies in their mum's kitchen in South London, and now they're killing the game. So they are creating the first crypto bank, and the thing is, once the first crypto bank is set up, the physical banks will be less and less relevant because the money is much safer in crypto. And like I said, it's the same as the stock market. We just need to understand it. There's no historical prices for them because we haven't had them for very long. But like I said,
Have
you
you
should
heard about
base.
BAB or BAX?
I
These
don't know.
guys are also doing a crypto bank from their offices in Canary Wharf,
Okay,
and
that's
I've
good.
invested into their ICO and their shares and everything. So
Hmm.
I think it's there are a lot of people out there that are doing this crypto bank thing, but whether they're going to get the go ahead from the FSA and
Yeah, it's the
yeah,
FCA. That's the
yep,
biggest problem because the FCA know that once they accept the first crypto bank, then they're done.
that's
Their
it.
jobs are
That's it. Exactly. It's gone.
nobody's going to care about them.
Yep.
So they're doing whatever they can to cock block this new crypto bank, and they're succeeding at the moment. But it's only a matter of time before there's loopholes that we can get around to set it up, and the people are going to be able to have their say. So when they do set up, that really is the way forward. So if you could invest in something now that you understand, it's good. So the two cryptocurrencies that I would suggest, that are my friends' cryptocurrencies, and I work very closely with them, and I see what they're doing, and they're completely genuine, honest guys, and they're doing good work. So I'll write them down in the comments
Yeah,
actually.
please go ahead.
Um, so it's Z Loader. So that's one. That's Sam's, and then the other one is Populous.
I've heard about Populous.
Yeah,
I've
that's
heard about
Steve's.
Populous. Populous went up to something like $10 or
Yeah,
something during the boost,
yeah,
and then it crashed down to
yeah,
really bad prices. But yeah, I mean, I know of someone that invested in Populous and lost it.
yeah.
Yeah.
You will, and like I said, like investments, you go up and down, so you have to be aware of that. But the best investment strategy you can have is the same one that Warren Buffett has, and it's the long game. Play the
Yep.
long game. You put in
Absolutely.
money at the beginning, and you continue to put in money, and you just never take it out, never, ever,
Yep.
ever, and
Yep.
it increases your net worth. And you may not have the liquidity, but the liquidity will come from other aspects of your life. But your net worth will continue to go up as long as you're invested in what you believe in.
That's what I
So,
did. I mean, 2018, I invested a hell lot of it in crypto. Lost a lot of it. Lost a hell lot of it because I
yeah.
invested like during the times of January till April, and then
Mm,
from there it was just rock bottom basically.
mm, yeah, for
But
sure.
then I've not invested any more. I think one or two cryptocurrencies in 2019, but then that's
Hmm.
it. So I've left
Yeah.
it there. It's there. It's going up. It's going down. I don't care about it. It's in my
Hmm.
wallet somewhere. So yeah, it's good. It's good.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, go
Yeah,
ahead.
so the investments that you can invest in right now, they're ethical and sustainable, like ESG investments that I support. Um, and I'll just say one thing about the investments. If the only time you should really take your investment out is you really think the company's going to go down, but by that point, if you really think that it's going down and you can see it going down, you think it's going to go bust, there really is little point in taking your money out when it's that. Like, what are you going to get? £5? And
Exactly.
then if you do take it out and then it goes back up, you've killed yourself. So really, just if you're investing, make sure that you do the groundwork before you choose a company or a crypto that you really trust and believe in, and then you leave your money there. You just don't touch it ever.
Yeah,
Just don't.
absolutely.
So yeah, the investment are going to benefit the wider community. They're going to benefit the world in what they're doing. um, is I would go with a bank if you want to see like how they're doing and how where they're moving. I would look at Pictet Asset Management. So I'm going to write that down too.
Yep.
Pictet. Incredible bank. I actually have just applied for a job there because I have a secure job with Bank of America in ultra high net worth investment management. But the way that the big banks are going, I think that once crony season is over, they're going to be firing to kind of balance their books rather than
Yep.
hiring to solve the
Yep.
problems.
Yep.
So, although I've got a secure job at Bank of America, I don't know whether they'll honor it. So I am looking elsewhere just in the meantime. And even if I can just work remotely for Pictet for like 3 months, and then after crony season, Bank of America say, yeah, it's still on the table, I'll honor that. I'll go
Yep.
over, see what they have to say. So yeah, Pictet Asset Management. If you want to look at sustainable ESG investments, go on to Pictet Asset Management, go onto the website and have a look at the stuff that they're investing in. So a lot of the stuff they're investing in is really, really, really good stuff. So it's investing in water, in clean water, investing in renewable energies, investing in AI, which artificial intelligence, like I know, I'm not like super on board with, but it's
Yeah.
interesting to look into. They're investing in like space, moving into space and exploring space. There's loads of really, really interesting ESG investments that are out there that you don't actually have to put up a large fee to get into. If you do have to put up a large fee, you can always pool your funds with some friends and go in with together with the
Yep.
same mind.
Yep.
Just make sure you trust them. But yeah, I would go have a look at Pictet. It's a very ethical bank. It's a Swiss bank, and
Well,
generally
yeah,
Swiss
we've
banks.
got a comment here. Best bank in Switzerland.
Yeah, I would absolutely agree. And not only in Switzerland, I'd say like best bank in the world. I know that a lot of people that work there, and they've said it's the best working
I mean,
environment.
Swiss banks, like you said, they are the number one.
Hmm.
People send their money out there to hold it, to invest it, to, just
Absolutely.
save it, whatever. But yeah.
It's a very stable economy and they're a very stable culture as well. The only thing I would say about that is that there is one bank that is Swiss that I would never recommend working with, because one of my friends is a guy called Paul. He's a very established investor, and he basically has worked for himself for his entire life. He's still quite young. He's about 30, 33, but he's worked for himself. He's got his own investment portfolio and he makes, 5, 6, 7 grand a day. He doesn't need to have a regular job. But UBS contacted him and said, we really need you on board. We need you to manage our trading team. And he's only 33. And he was like, yeah, fine. I mean, like, he's worked for Goldman Sachs, BlackRock, like all of the big guys. And he was like, yeah, sure, I'll come over and I'll have a look. It can't be worse than Goldman and BlackRock. And he said single-handedly UBS was the worst investment bank. He's still working there, but he was like, it's the worst investment bank I've ever worked for. There are people that can barely turn on their computer because their anxiety, they're shaking so much. They can't even press, this is grown men, can't even press the button to turn on their computer because they're literally so stressed. People are getting fired left, right, and center. The culture is disgusting. And I'm not saying this is the same for like every investment bank or Swiss investment bank, definitely not. But I was shocked to hear that it's come from a Swiss investment bank. And of
Wow.
course they're big, but that kind of culture is so damaging. And it's a shame because I actually, one of our close family friends is the head of philanthropy for UBS. He's a guy called Tom Hall. He's an incredible man of God, and he uses the money at UBS and he uses it for philanthropic purposes. And my mother, because she's a philanthropist, she aids him in placing the money. And they do really, really good work with their like corporate social responsibility and
Okay.
their philanthropic team. But the culture within the bank, what I've heard from Paul, and I trust him, is just really disgusting, actually. So Swiss banks in general, I think they're great. Pictet's the best bank in the world, but UBS, I'd stay clear from unless you're going to go into philanthropy.
But yeah, thank you so much for all those great
Welcome.
advices and
No
tips. I'm
problem.
sure the viewers took them on board. I took them on board, and I'll definitely go and search for Pictet and the two crypto
Definitely, definitely.
assets that you've mentioned. But yes, let's do this again sometime, and discuss possibly more into what Pictet does and the different cryptos and everything. So it'd be good. It'd be
Definitely.
good. Thank you,
Yeah.
India. Thank you
Can
so much
we
for joining. Yep, sure.
thank you so much. Can we save this video? Is it possible to
It's
save
on
it
my
to
so I'm going to be saving this on my live story
cool.
right now. And
Hmm.
also I'll be taking a few recordings of it and putting them on social
Sure.
media platforms. So yeah, I mean anyone who is watching right now, tell your friends, family to look at this video. And this video will be live on BTH Properties Instagram channel for the next 24 hours. So you can come in and you can have a look at this and see India speak about the different investments that she spoke about today. So thank you so much, India, and
Most
have a
welcome.
great day.
You
Enjoy
too.
Thursday, bright sunny skies.
I will.
Take care. Bye bye.
Bye. Bye,
Bye
everybody.
bye.
Bye.
Bye.